Welcome back, and thanks for joining us on What Matters This Week. I'm Lauren Maloney. I am joined now by former Governor Madeleine Kunin, who has a new book out called Coming of Age, My Journey to the 80s. Governor, if we could start off with some topical questions, some relevant questions. The news this week that Nikki Haley will resign as UN ambassador, did that surprise you?
Yes, because she seemed very comfortable and good in her position. And but you know, I'm sure it's a stressful role too, so she may go on to something else. But I thought she was the most qualified person in the Trump administration.
Do you think we haven't seen the last of her? Will she reignite?
Well, people are talking about that already, whether she'll ever run for president or another role, but she's being pretty close-lipped about that, which I don't blame her. So she may just want to take some time off. She has children. She has another life. So it's hard to second-guess her, but I'm sure we haven't seen the last of her.
Governor, the past 2 or 3 weeks, when it's come to now Justice Brett Kavanaugh and those contentious hearings, do you think that these past few weeks have been the toughest when it comes to Democrats and Republicans? A lot of people have said both parties have hit kind of bottom line, have hit the ground on this one.
Well, it certainly has been a very dramatic and in some ways painful, I shouldn't say spectacle, but in a way it was so dramatic that you can use that word. But the consequences, of course, are very, very serious. And the fact that 2 votes would have made the difference is probably not a very frequent event that we would see, that the country's so sharply divided and with such different views on Judge Kavanaugh and now Justice Kavanaugh. So I was disappointed. I thought it was not really fair or honest to say, well, I believe her, but I believe it wasn't Judge Kavanaugh who attacked the doctor, and Christine, who gave such a credible, such an honest description of her trauma. So, and I guess what bothered me even more was his demeanor when he really seemed to kind of lose it and attack everybody, including the left, including any organization that challenged him. So I just hope that he will discover his judicial self and try to be impartial and fair.
You've had a lot to say over the past year when it has come to the Me Too movement. Did you ever anticipate that women or women's rights, strong, powerful women, would have come to this point when it has come to what really is a movement right now?
It is, and no, I didn't anticipate. Of course, we haven't seen the end of it. There's some fear that there now may be a backlash to it, but the good news is that women aren't staying silent when they feel assaulted or harassed, and that women aren't staying silent in terms of the whole political scene, the larger issues of the environment and the whole Trump agenda. So a record number of women, I think approximately 560, are running for office. And that's something I always dreamed of, that women would eventually be on an equal standard, equal number with men, and that we would have the same seat at the tables where decisions are made.
Governor, let's talk about your book.
Yes.
Coming of Age. It's made of poems, essays. Why now have we seen this part of you, this side of you?
Because I'm becoming of age, and by that I mean old age, and I find myself changing, and how I see the world. And you know, when I was in political life, I tried to be authentic and all that, but you're seen differently. You're seen almost in one dimension. You're a politician, and people question, are you real, are you genuine? And as I am getting older, I'm in a sort of different space where I can have time to think, have time to write, and can take off that political mantle. I don't have to be so careful, wondering what you might think or what the media in general might think. So in a way, it's liberating. For example, you had to dress just right. Years ago, there was a book called Dress for Success, and the model was a navy blue suit, low heels, and a white blouse with little frills around the neck just to show you were female. And now I can wear whatever I please. So that's just symbolic of a certain liberty. And there's some hard parts in it. I mean, one of the hero of that book is my husband, who passed away last January, and a lot about it is a love story in some ways, and also a story of caring for him. What surprises me in the readings I've done is that I get a lot of laughter, which I didn't know I would get.
I was going to say, are you going to make us laugh or cry, or both?
Both, really. So, you know, I was a journalist years ago, but in journalism, you write differently. You're supposed to be dispassionate. Well, here there's some emotion, and I feel I can display that.
What surprised you the most, maybe in learning about yourself in the process of writing it?
Well, that I could reveal some inner emotions which we often camouflage in our daily life. I could feel safe in talking about that. It took me a while to get there. And even just before the book came out, I was anxious about how the public would react when they talk about aging, when they talk about, you know, the differences that do appear. You know, you can't run up and down the stairs anymore, and other physical issues and emotional issues. But I found I still love life, and I'm still curious, and I'm fortunate that I have probably the two essentials that you need as you grow older. One is a certain level of economic security, and a sort of good health. Good health is key. So, well, you know,
can all generations learn something or gather something from your book then?
Yes, that's another surprise, that young women have enjoyed the book, and men.
They're learning something.
Yeah, or they identify with something, or they know what to look forward to. So yeah, I'm very surprised and of course pleased that I've gotten such a good response. Like up in Greensboro, where there's the new Highland Art Center, not a lot of people live there, at least this time of year, and more than 100 people showed up. So that's, I mean, every writer likes to be read, just like a painter likes to be viewed. And so I'm pleasantly and sort of big surprise.
Let's talk about your portrait on the cover. I understand that you initially weren't that comfortable with how vulnerable maybe, or how close up, so to speak,
yeah,
it was.
The photo was taken by Todd Lockwood, and a couple of years ago, actually. It was so close up. It showed all my lines, as you can see. But then I got used to it. And I guess the important thing is not the lines on your face so much as the expression of your face and the total impact that you make.
Governor, with young women now who walk in the State House and they may see your portrait, they may say interviews with you, and they can see something in common with the first and right now only former female governor of the state. What is your hope for young women and those with so many aspirations right now?
Well, that they will be able to realize their dreams. You know, there's a saying, you have to see it to believe it. And I think seeing women in positions of influence and enjoying that position is very important. So I happen to fit that category in my life, and I do a lot of mentoring, and I meet with young women whenever they ask to meet with me, and I still have a position at UVM as a Marsh professor, and so I'm very happy about that connection, because it's a two-way street, really. I have to know where they are, and they're interested in knowing how I got to where I am. And
what's the most common question they ask of you?
Well, how'd you do it? And it's, you know, I never can fully answer that question, because I don't really know how I got here, but they also ask about the dangers of being in public life. They're very concerned about their privacy or being attacked. But what's most interesting about the women running in 2018 is they've sort of cast that aside. They felt such an urgency to be engaged because they disagree with what is happening in our country, that alone has given them courage to deal with it, to take it on.
Thanks, of course, to the governor for sitting down with me this week. We'll be right back.